Good morning, everyone. This is Angelos Zittis from IronFX, bringing you the morning comment for the 29th of August. Canada re-enters NAFTA negotiations as further tariffs on China are pending. Canada re-entered the NAFTA negotiations, praising concessions made by Mexico on autos and labor rights. The thorn of the negotiations, however, for Canada may prove to be the dispute resolution mechanism, as the US pursues anti-dumping cases. With Canada under pressure, the three parties race towards a Friday deadline to revamp the NAFTA agreement. On the US-Sino trade front, the deadline for further tariffs on the $200 billion of Chinese imports is nearing, as period for public comment regarding President Trump's increased tariffs is ending on the 5th of September. Analysts point out that the market may start to position itself ahead of the deadline. Should there be further headlines about these issues, we could see further volatility on the US dollar. USD CAD dropped yesterday, breaking consecutively the 129.65 and the 129.25 support levels, now turned to resistances. We could see the pair correcting somewhat today, and should there be further developments regarding the NAFTA negotiations, volatility could rise. Also, the pair may prove sensitive to financial releases later on today, as they affect both sides of the pair. Should the bulls dictate the pair's direction, we could see it breaking the 129.25 resistance line and aim higher for the 129.65 resistance hurdle. Contrary to that scenario, should the bears have the upper hand, we could see the pair breaking the 128.80 support line and aim lower for the 128.30 support barrier. On other news, EU and UK delay their October deadline. According to media, EU and UK officials seem to acknowledge that October deadline to finalize negotiations for Brexit is unlikely and seem to be aiming towards the end of November. Analysts point out that pushing the deadline further into the future could be indicative of the difficulties for the two sides to make progress. On other headlines, Theresa May, while traveling to Africa, stated that the failure to reach a deal on Brexit wouldn't be the end of the world, increasing fears of a hard Brexit. Despite not directly responding on May's statement, Irish Foreign Minister commented that talk of Britain leaving the EU without an exit deal would be more of a negotiating position rather than a reality, as such a scenario wouldn't benefit any of the two sides. The GBP weakened on the news, and should there be further negative headlines about the issue, we could see the pound weakening further. Cable rose yesterday during the European morning, breaking the 128.95 resistance line, however surrendered any gains made later on. The pair could continue to trade with some bearish tendencies if the pound continues to weaken, and the pair could prove sensitive to any new, especially negative, Brexit headlines. Also, the financial releases later today could affect the USD side of the pair. Should cable be under selling interest, we could see it breaking the 128.25 support line and aim lower for the 127.70 support area. On the other hand, should the market participants be interested in buying the pair, we could see it rising and breaking the 128.95 resistance line and aim higher for the 129.60 resistance zone. In today's other economic highlights in the European session, from Germany, we get the GfK consumer sentiment indicator for September, France's GDP growth rate for the second quarter, and Turkey's trade balance for July. In the American session, we get from the US the GDP growth rate, the core PCE prices growth rate, and from Canada the current account balance, all being for the second quarter. Later today, we get from the US the EIA weekly crude oil inventories figure. Please be advised that regarding the oil market, the release of the API weekly crude oil inventories figure yesterday showed a small injection of plus 38,000 barrels, tweaking oil prices somewhat. Should you be interested on further updates regarding the oil market, please refer to our oil market weekly outlook to be released later on today. For more information, please read the full comment on ironfx.com or download our app and get all the information you need to trade. You can follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or circle us on Google Plus to get more trading ideas. This is Angelos Zittis from IronFX, wishing you solid trading.